That doesn't look like a penis. I was like, from up here, does this Jabba look like a penis?
What's your penis look like, man?
Like, if it's...
Hey guys, Screw a Blind Wave. I'm Eric.
I'm Aaron.
And we're back with Superman and Lois! Yes.
Last
sick
time...
and it's serious and it's not...
We were dealing with
not
patient
very
stuff,
exciting.
yeah. Actually, there's been some very somber moments. Somber's the right word, right?
Yep. That's a great word. You've nailed that word.
So, yeah, some. Not all of them. Mm-hmm. Some of the moments have been like... Candace is moving. I guess that's kind of a little somber, I suppose. But not as somber.
Yeah.
Right? That's
fine, though. She takes too much time in the bathroom.
How about this dude drove from another city to meet up with Nat?
Mateo!
Yeah.
That was the subject of our poll, Aaron. Our poll was, are you suspicious of Mateo? And guess what? 40% of people said...
He's a good dude.
40%.
Good dude.
Said he's innocent.
He's a good dude.
60% said he's up to something.
He's good dude, okay?
Up to something.
Yeah. He's not Bizarro. Nothing like that.
Billy B says he's definitely Bruno's son. Christian Boda says, if he's not Bruno's kid, I'll be shocked.
Shocked.
Ethan says if he's the son, he's probably innocent, and Bruno might try and manipulate him to do what he doesn't want to do.
Can we call him Mateo Mannheim? Or do you think Mateo's like short for something? Like, nope, that doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to think of it. The closest I got was like tomato. I'm like,
hi, Mateo, short for tomato.
Why would you?
My father was a fool.
Why would you name your son Tomato?
It hated me.
Man, tomato's a terrible name. I'll just go with Mateo. There you go.
Paul Gregory has a point. Just like the armorer, you'll end up owing him an apology too.
Well, no.
I trusted the armorer fully the entire way through and never doubted.
That was
once.
That was only because of the title and a minor speculation of what the heck that meant.
Yeah.
This has no context to anything in the show except for just what they've shown us.
Aaron is 100% right.
I would never have thought about the armor except for the title of that episode and be like, what does it mean?
Jacob Marer says, can we please just let Nat have this?
Yes.
Just have Mateo be a normal guy? She deserves it.
Yes. The only thing, though, is like
normal guys.
Sam, I feel like, has pretty good intuition. And he's like, what's up with this guy?
Yep, he can sniff out.
At the same time, he's had some pretty bad intuition being like, hey, you want to go to the movies? So, about this government program.
He has a good judge of character, not necessarily the social grace to go with it.
Oh, okay.
To not make you an asshole for that judging. Marcus the Boss says, no suspicion here. But I'm pretty sure, as most everybody here, that he's Bruno's son, or at least in affiliation with him. Wait. I don't think it's going to be all Mr. Nice Guy, and then, bam, joke's on you! I'm actually evil, Nat, and I never liked you! Although that would be a hilarious interaction.
You said no suspicion.
Yeah, I know. I'm just reading what Mark said.
Liar!
He is the boss. Asagio Edits, last one, says, I think he's just a boy who likes a girl.
See? Yeah. Hey, I've known some guys that have done some crazy things for girls.
I'm not saying it's for sure, but I am saying I'm about 60% suspicious.
I have known guys that have driven. I don't know how far away. What's the driving range of this? Like, how far is it? Like, I
between Smallville and Metropolis.
Yeah, like, is that like a few hours? You know, is it a train?
I think it's like 2 hours.
2 hours. So it's like going to Columbus, right?
Or it's 4 hours. They said this not too long ago.
I've known people that have driven to Columbus just for the night for like a hookup.
Yeah.
Let alone like thinking that he might like actually like this girl. You know?
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's just let the
kids. I have a question. Were those guys creepy?
Hi, I'm Clark. My wife Lois has breast cancer.
I see.
She's been coming here to House Bay for chemo. And thanks for having me.
Victor, how are things at home?
I guess I'm just trying to count my blessings. Nancy's last scan was better than expected. But our doc keeps warning me someday soon that won't be the case. And I don't know how I'll be able to face it. The end.
We can't really. Until it's our turn.
Man, I thought...
I haven't shared this in a while.
Dan was a runner. 4 a.m., 6 days a week. He was my miracle. until he wasn't. So, I sat beside him, took his hand, and I told Dan that it's okay to let go.
So he went to group therapy. Good for him. It's good for both of us.
Dr. Hook's research files as requested.
How long has it been? We are 3 minutes in, and I am devastated.
You okay?
Yeah, fine. Just wasn't for me.
Oh, Clark. Damn. This is the best Superman stuff I think I've ever seen.
Man, I came here just watch this boy punch aliens,
Nope,
you know? And
I'm not punching aliens, punching everybody's hearts.
I look like a deflated balloon.
I guess it's vintage?
Mr. Cushing says I gotta wear a trainee uniform until I earn a better one.
Who's Rusty?
I don't know, but the crew keeps saying he died in these.
That's so
Hologram.
funny.
It was that Kryptonian martial arts lady. You look like a guy who made a wish to be a kid again. Superman, take me to Manheim.
Seems pretty fishy to me.
It's not. He's got tumors everywhere.
Manheim! You're crossing a red line coming back here.
He's dying, and he says only you can save him.
I'm not a doctor.
His body is tearing itself apart.
Then you should take him to a hospital.
drop him off at his facility. You know?
Yeah, you have a hospital.
Yeah.
What am I, a doctor? You own a hospital. She died in bed.
I love that. He's Rusty. I don't know, but they keep telling me he died. I also like he looked like a grown-up who wished to be a kid again.
Giving powers to dying criminals? I mean, why go through the trouble?
What if, and I know it's a big if, it's Mannheim, but what if this isn't about powers? What if he's actually trying to keep these guys?
What was that, Jordan?
No, carpet,
Where were you?
There was a flash flood in Utah. It was like a wall of water and trees and all kinds of stuff. I mean, like, I saved like this hiker and maybe a yoga instructor. It was nuts.
Wait.
No, we still don't know your limits. What if you had gotten hurt or worse?
I told him he could go. Ooh. I know, I'm sorry. It was just a flood. I thought he'd be okay. And there wasn't time to check with you.
You think you're ready? Tomorrow it's you and me at the fortress.
Yeah? That's awesome. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, now go shower.
Watch the
Carpet!
Watch the mud. It's so sweet.
Like he should go outside and just spin around real fast, you know?
Bizarro!
If he finds us down here.
Focus on the work. Let me handle Superman.
Here. Wonder where they've been.
This is reckless.
We either make our move now, or let Superman make his.
We only had one shot.
Then make sure you don't miss.
I'm not throwing away my shot.
I want to know who this is.
I know he was trouble, but they lost their dad today. So sad.
You didn't make it.
Estate planning. What's this?
Something we should have done so long ago. It is embarrassing.
Healthcare, power of attorney, last will and testament. You are young and strong, and I know you're gonna get through this.
Clark, can you at least consider?
Nope. I don't have to.
Clark, come on.
Look, babe, if you want to have these papers in order and that makes you feel better, fine. But I'm telling you, it's not necessary.
I get it.
Hologram training. I see all these, Aaron. Atomic
Skull!
Cool.
You really think you're ready? Okay.
Atomic Skull.
I've already beat him.
Well, then let's crank it up a notch.
And Bizarro.
They said Kal-El something.
I'm impressed. Online it says a 2-month wait.
You want to see the fight?
Did Dad leave?
Do you see him here?
But I'm hungry. Sophie, we gotta study. If you're hungry, then go get something to eat.
Here you go. Damn. Look at the atomic skull, man.
Oh, give him the hip. He's getting in between them, isn't he? It's a plan.
Sweet.
I could do this all day.
Oh!
All right, that wasn't fair.
Fair's got nothing to do with it. You have to make sure you've disarmed all your enemies.
What is it?
Every time I finish one of your lessons, you just add another.
Because I'm trying to keep you safe and alive. If you would stop fighting me and just listen.
All I've done is listen and wait, and I'm sick of it.
I'm trying to teach you something.
Yeah, it's not about me. I just don't think you can handle someone else being super too.
Oh, that's it.
Where's your sister? Oh, she was hungry, so I told her to go get something to eat. Alone? Where's your dad? He went to go run an errand, I think. Mom, I'm so sorry. We can check the house?
We can take my truck.
We're gonna find her. Everything is gonna be fine. I'm gonna go to Britton Dunn's. She probably got him.
Everything's gonna be fine.
I hope Kyle's not with Chrissy.
I mean, he was whistling as he left the house, so maybe he is.
Why weren't you with them?
I had to do a thing.
What kind of thing?
Just went on a quick hike.
A hike?
Lana,
It's a hike time. Then I came to get alcohol.
You should have been there with her. And since when do you even hike? In 20 years, you never once.
Just hiding back there.
Really?
Lana, I can explain.
No explanation necessary. I need to go find my daughter.
The one thing I hope he wasn't doing.
He had to do a thing.
He's overreacting.
Not if you shot him.
Look, babe, don't worry. It's fine.
How is this fine? You're shooting our son with lasers.
Look, it wasn't me. It was the program. And besides, I'm just trying to prepare him for the worst.
Okay, so then it's just different when it comes to me. I'm just saying, you walked out of therapy and you said it wasn't for you. And last night you walked out of our bedroom.
Trying to prepare for the worst.
Our first day at Hobbs Bay, I heard about this feeling that some people with cancer experience, this pull to surrender when things get bad. Like it'd just be easier to give in. And then at the support group, the therapist was talking about telling her husband to let go and...
Okay, so you're worried I'm just gonna give up.
I mean, now you're writing a will and acting like you might not make it?
Because I might not. I'm not you. You don't get sick.
Lois, I'm always going to believe that you're gonna beat this. I'm not gonna fixate on the alternative being a possibility.
It already is. Cancer is my villain, Clark. And you keep acting like it doesn't exist.
Wait, where are you going?
I'm going for a ride. Just please don't follow me. And while I'm gone, maybe apologize to our son for laser beaming him or whatever the hell that was.
The kid's gotta be ready for lasers, Aaron.
I just love, like, you shot our kid with a laser?
I can't stop screwing up and letting my family down.
Nice try, rookie. I took space drugs and destroyed high school football for the entire town.
First time?
Don't think. What are Sophie's favorite places?
The movie theater. But they're still playing Dumb Einstein it.
Some type of fair thing.
Hold up.
Yeah, fair.
What Soph said to my dad at the fire station? I think I know where she is. Come on.
At where the fair would be if there was a fair?
Fairgrounds.
Or is there a place that always has... Yeah.
The fairgrounds are
where the
place
fair would
always
be
is,
if there was a fair.
Yeah.
But there's no fair.
Sophie, go away.
I think a bull shows up.
I think I get it. Let me try.
Everyone always forgets about me. They never want me around.
Solve season 2.
They never want me around.
My brothers are kind of a big deal, so.
Jordan's not a big deal. I mean, Sarah dumped him.
That's what family does.
But that's your family. Mine doesn't care about me.
I kind of doubt that. You should have seen how fast your sister made me drive. I should probably lose my license.
Sophie was so worried.
Oh, gosh, you keep getting bigger.
Thank you.
Come on, Silver.
Leave the truck to wash.
Hey, might be any shirt in your future to look at.
You didn't call him Rusty.
You had to figure it out by yourself. I have Superman to learn from. There's no better teacher than that. What is it?
Who's yelling for Superman?
Please hurry.
Mom.
Stay here.
What?
Man, I was worried if something was gonna happen. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia faking Lois's voice.
Help me, Superman.
That's some super hearing.
Lasers, breath. Whoa, it like it opened up. Ah, he's gonna shout laser beams.
Kryptonite weapon.
Maybe Jordan show up?
It's like a constant kryptonite weapon. Jesus.
Yeah. It's like fighting the Zilla Beast.
Mom, you're okay.
Yeah, why wouldn't I be?
Well, you're
Joe saves Clark. He needs help.
Calm down and tell me what happened.
I don't know. It sounded like you were hurt, so Dad told me to stay here, and then he left to go find you.
You need to listen for your father and tell me exactly what you hear.
Oh, God, help! That's all you hear.
Weaken him enough.
Dude, he's powering through it. Get up! Need to laser everyone's legs off.
Hope hurts so much more.
You know?
You need to call Grandpa.
The DOD won't make it in time.
Go.
You need to help him.
Dad said I wasn't ready.
Then prove him wrong. You can do this, Jordan. Go save your father.
Go get it, kid. Go get it.
Did he change his outfit?
Does he have time? Yeah, yeah.
Go save your father.
Great shot. Oh, this guy looks so good.
I want to see his outfit. Yes.
He's got it. What a great shot. Alright, hit everyone that you can as hard as you can in the second.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yep.
Yes.
2.
Yes.
3.
Those guys be out now.
I'm going for the lady first. Go! Hustle!
Why didn't you hit her yet? Ooh, that's cool. Uh-oh.
He's never dealt with kryptonite before. Right?
Yeah. Shoot. He's gonna push these out. Oh!
Superman always holds back, Aaron.
Oh, I know. Ooh.
Yeah.
Jordan, come on.
Good.
Man, you got shot with a laser.
Please.
You can call him a different name.
Yeah, right.
Check it out, Mom. No more musty rusty.
Lil Kim.
I'm moving up in the world.
Yeah, it's okay.
Mom, you're right. I took down a bunch of bad guys. He even got shot with kryptonite, but I didn't get hurt.
We're gonna run some more tests at the fortress, but it seems like kryptonite doesn't affect him the same way.
Cool.
Oh,
That makes a lot of sense.
I have been in my head a bit lately. And when I heard you calling for help, I didn't even think, and Jordan could have got hurt. But this human side of him, this side he got from you, saved him. Might even make him stronger than me.
I'm just glad you guys are both okay.
When he got shot, that was the worst moment of my life. It's like living in a nightmare, and I realize I've been so obsessed with keeping him safe because for the first time I can't keep you safe. And I feel really powerless.
Yeah, this is different from anything we've ever faced. And I will do everything I can and give everything I have to stay with you and the boys.
And I'm always gonna believe that you're gonna make it. But I promise you I will be better at being here for you in whatever way you need me to be.
fuckers going?
Keeps raining.
Hearing your story about your husband, telling him to let go, I couldn't fathom saying that to my wife.
Bruno.
That
Mateo.
scared me.
Bruno and Mateo.
In a way that I don't think I've ever been scared before.
Can't do this anymore.
That affected the way I dealt with my family. There's so much we don't know, so much uncertainty.
My powers are fading.
Oh, fading.
I'm getting worse. I can feel it.
That's just, why'd you just draw boobs?
What? There's a sentence.
Okay, sure, you put it down.
I need to be the best version of me. So I can be there for my wife and my boys in any way they need. So that's why I'm here. To ask for help.
Pia. I mean, I don't know if that's really her name, but it's the shorter version of Onomatopoeia.
Oh, I thought like her real name.
I mean, it could be, you know?
Wait, hold on. I don't know what happened, but we are so out of focus.
Ow! I'm fixing the focus.
Oh, it's working. Holy shit.
You know we had to do that every time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Pia is like her name. I don't remember if we got her name last time. But Pia, I mean, it's like, what's a good? Spidey, right?
Yeah.
You just call him Spidey. Like,
Yeah.
that's not his name, but it's shorter version of Spider-Man.
Okay.
Right?
It's like Joker was like, hello, bats!
Yeah,
Okay.
instead of Batman, right?
Yeah, okay, gotcha. 'Cause that's his real name.
Yeah.
All right, well.
No, I was in the...
I love that I had no idea.
Yeah,
I
really?
love up to the point where that mess coming off, I'm like, fuck, I have no idea. So
It got
glad.
to a point, I think it was in the restaurant, I'm like, I wrote, best onomatopoeia twist, the cancer patient.
Okay,
So-
it did kind of look like boobies, but it's not. You're right. That's what it says.
That's just a star. Not a nipple.
I thought it was a nipple.
But I was like, I think that'd be a good twist. It's not something I would have thought of last time.
Yep.
But
No.
we had more focus on her this time and stuff too.
I should have known. It has her frame.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Because I was like, what other girls do we know that it could really be? Because like the Nat thing is like,
Yeah.
all the things about like I like pushing it, but like,
Yep.
yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense that it would be Nat.
And of course,
But-
people that are at the hospital that Bruno owns that are getting extra stuff, there was only two other people there. Right?
And we've had 2 cases already of tumored, cancered patients with superpowers.
Should have thought of it an episode ago, but I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah. I was thinking about it, I'm like, well,
I'm
they
glad
don't-
this storyteller got me.
I was like, if they don't reveal it here at the end, do I want to say it in the
Sure.
middle or not?
Yeah.
You know? So I was going to talk about that a little bit, being
Yeah.
like, I have a new idea, like an actual idea.
Yeah, no,
But
I get you.
We're there now.
I mean, I like being able to see someone solve those mysteries first, but I also like a storyteller being like, and then the reveal. And I'm like, oh!
Sure, yeah. Like, it's great, like, oh man, is this? And like, no, it's this.
Yeah.
Like, you've been trying to figure out what
Yeah.
this mystery is. So, no, I thought that was good. I mean, and it just being kind of coupled in with this, like, dealing with cancer and
Yeah.
the health treatments and having someone like Superman where Lois is like, you are not going, like, my reality is I am going to die. Whether it is cancer or something else, I'll die at some point.
Yeah.
You're not going to die. Or at least not die for a long, I don't know how long Kryptonians can just live or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But
Long time, probably almost infinitely. If they have
well,
the
especially with
power.
the sun,
Yeah.
right? So, only Krypton had been different, but
No, I think, and I think we said this before, but I'm saying with 100% certainty, I think this is the best live action Superman stuff we've ever gotten.
over all the movies and stuff.
Yep. I mean,
I think the
we've
stories have been
seen
really
Superman do incredible things and way more incredible things, visually, sure. But
I think it seems really
this
well-rounded
is-
story-wise,
Yeah,
right?
this is the most I've ever actually felt like they're not just putting obstacles in front of him for to overcome. Like this is this feels real.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I get you. It doesn't, and it doesn't just feel like a comic book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like lots of like movies or TV shows with comic book heroes have that comic book feel. It's what I always liked about like Spider-Man still had it, but it also felt like a lot of the Spider-Man things he was typically trying to tackle like real issues he would have. And I think it's why I liked him more because like I always felt Superman was like, well, he has nothing to worry about, you know? Like how do you stop Superman? You don't.
Yeah.
But this here is like I love him talking about like when he started crying, talking about feeling powerless and stuff. I'm just like, oh yeah. Like I remember these. These are the comic pages you think about, you know? Like it just feels different.
I think he's like the perfect character to go over the theme of like toxic positivity, which I think is something that I mean, one, I think it's a real thing. Two, I think it gets mislabeled. People mislabel it on what it actually is, but I think that he's doing it here, and it's not a bad thing necessarily, but it's not confronting reality in the right way that he needs it confronted. Like you could tell, like he was hiding from something by doing that. You know, the possibility that Lois isn't the strongest person ever, and the thing that he can't save her from.
Sure. And even what she's saying about, like, I think makes sense too. Like, I like that he's saying about cancer, but she's also like, I could die from anything. I could die from a car accident, you know?
Yeah, I mean, because he knows Lois is strong. He knows what she's like. But he's always had, like, yeah, she can handle herself. But here's a secret thing. If you ever need me, you can call me, you know? At the very least, I'll always be there to save the day. That's what he...
Yeah,
that's
but I can't punch cancer.
That's where his love is most, like, you know, selfish, right? But he can't do that to cancer. Yeah, you're right. It's the best Superman stuff I think we've ever gotten.
Sure.
I would put this up against any other Superman stuff.
It's up there with me with the way I felt about season 4 of Supergirl.
Yeah.
Because they were dealing with like a racism type of thing. And it was bigger than just like, here's a Kryptonian you have to fight. And they're threatening the world, you know? And that's what we get a lot of times. Like a lot of Superman movies are like, here's a clone or a Kryptonian or whatever, and they're threatening the world and you gotta stop them.
I get you.
You know? But that was like an ideal. This is like a disease. Like things that aren't just, I can punch it and I've beaten it.
I agree.
It's like, how does someone all powerful like this compete against this? How do you beat this?
No, I agree in that comparison. This only inches it out because the Supergirl alien xenophobia thing, I think, is definitely a really good allegory to race relations and stuff like that. But in the story, there's that one separation of like, well, when it comes to actual racism, there are no differences between the races. All the differences are society and culturally based, you know, like they're illusions in a sense. Whereas like there, I'm like, okay, yeah, they are different people. I understand that. But this is so grounding and so universally terrifying because there's nobody that doesn't get touched by cancer. You know, there's not just like, hey, this one group doesn't get cancer, you know, except for fucking sharks or something.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, like, I like those stories for, like, those kinds of people, because, like we talked about before, Superman feels like he's just an all-powerful guy. How do you stop him? Well, you don't. You just kind of, you need to survive everything. So, how do you have him fight against something where it's like, this is something you can't just beat? And I like taking those kind of things. Like,
I also really loved...
I'm trying to think of other things that I've seen him in. There's really not a lot of that. I don't feel like. I feel like typically it's like, here's a big, strong bad guy. He has to fight.
You get it, but it never breaks Superman. Here, like, you can see Tyler breaking.
Sure.
Right? I mean, I put that at the feet of the acting. I mean, it's so subtle, but he has to do, like, 3 layers of acting here, right? He's a regular guy that is just as vulnerable as any of us, acting like a god, trying to understand that others aren't like him. You know? Like, there's a lot of layers in there.
You're right. No, it's good.
Fantastic.
You have to act like someone who is all-powerful, and now that you've been defeated for, like, the first time in your life kind of thing, right? Like, I've never felt powerless. I've always felt like I could do something. And it's got to be hard to kind of, like, have that in your acting. Because even the first scene where he's, like, sitting there watching, and I'm like, this doesn't look like Superman. This looks like a man who's, like, trying to fight against these stories he's hearing and, you know, his thoughts.
Yeah.
How he doesn't want to give up. He doesn't want Lois to give up, you know?
Yeah. He, like, the way that he has to confront fear is different than just what he's grown up with. There's a lot of really cool things in here that show, like, the history of Superman. Like, the stuff with training Jordan and being like, hey, like, I had to train and be careful and work very slowly. And Jordan's like, I have Superman to do that with. You had no one.
Sure.
Like, you have to be able to... yes, your experiences are valuable, but mine are going to be different, you know?
Sure.
It's the same thing with Lois. Lois even had that line in there where she said, like, whether it's cancer or old age, which is something that they probably never really he's really thought about either. You know, like he's going to remain the same, and she's going to get old and die.
Yeah.
Like this is inevitable.
No, that's what I was saying earlier. Is like the bus conversation.
Yeah.
You know, all that kind of stuff where it's like, I will die. Having this stuff is not. Like, it's not me saying, like, oh, I'm going to die now. It's me saying, like, I will die at some point.
Yeah.
We should have this in line, you know?
If she beats cancer completely...
She's still going to die at some
She's
point.
going to die, and he's going to live on. Yeah.
Yeah. I also liked when she was like, cancer is my villain. Mm-hmm. You know? I don't know. I like the line. It was really good.
And you're ignoring or denying its existence. You make me feel like it doesn't even exist.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. And then Jordan dealing with Kryptonite for the first time. I mean, he definitely took a shot to the chest, which took him out, but the Kryptonite itself didn't do anything.
Yeah, I guess they put out a different gun than what they used before, right? Because I was a little curious because, like, it doesn't seem to affect him like it does me. And I'm like, you were shot by 3, but I think it was supposed to be like a different, like, pistol gun thing that was doing more damage.
Yeah.
Because he looked weird. Like, it did something to him, but he was just kind of like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, knocked him out.
Yeah. No, I mean, Clark has been around Kryptonite enough. Like, you can even see him. Like, there's 3, beams hitting him, and he's still getting up. Like, he's creating some type of resistance to it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, he can just deal with that pain.
Well, in the last episode, I think it was, he was stabbed a bunch by Kryptonite, you know? And he was still pushing through everything.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Kryptonite, I think for Superman it's as dangerous to him as it needs to be at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's it's one of those tropes of it's like a sonic screwdriver for Doctor Who, right? It does what you need it to do in the story.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you write a character that is so overpowered and you're trying to have a foil for him, Kryptonite's the easy way out. Cancer is the harder one.
Sure, no. It's just like here you see him getting shot by 3 Kryptonite lasers, and I'm like, I don't know how strong that is compared to like this other gun that shot Jordan versus in the first movie. Lex Luthor opens up this lead box and there's a little rock in it, and then Clark's like, oh, and he's like falling to the ground, you know? It's like, that seems real strong. He's just in the vicinity.
Yeah.
They're shooting him with stuff.
It's the idea of like pain management, right? Like the first time Superman is ever exposed to Kryptonite, that's the first time he's ever felt pain.
Sure.
And imagine like a child feeling pain for the first time versus like a 60-year-old man, you know? Like my dad feels pain, he's like, oh. Doesn't care though.
You're relating it to like, you're like, the 3-year-old gets a paper cut.
Yeah.
Like, ah!
Just like
versus like your grandpa cuts off his toes, picks them up,
put them in the pocket,
finishes mowing the grass, and then goes.
Yeah, I think Superman is that's experience, you know.
Maybe
it's easier to deal with, the less shocking to his system it is.
Sure. Yeah. It's the Dread Pirate with poison.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That just doesn't affect me the same.
Exactly. And then with Jordan being half human, it's just going to affect him less.
He said it might even make him stronger than me. Those are Clark's words.
Well, I mean, if he has less weaknesses, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. They did do the one superhero trope, like Flash does all the time, too. I hate it. But it's like he flew around, he hit all the guys shooting Clark, but then didn't hit the last person that was shooting Clark. It's like, why? Why do you land and take a look at him, you know? Like, why don't you just hit him?
I know. And the solutions to that are, like... it does boggle the mind a little bit. Like, why not just put like an extra insert shot or an extra line to give reason to why you're not doing that to everybody else?
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's not hard to do.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just have to imagine that as you're writing, like, they did this in Lord of the Rings a lot, right? Like, Philippa and Fran that are writing will do all the, the crazy scenes and the emotion and stuff, and then we'll just be like, they fight. And then move on to the next scene, And then Peter Jackson comes in and is like, all right, they fight, ha ha ha. But they don't have Peter Jackson. They just got the guys that are like, this shot, that's what we need, moving on, We only got a day to film this. So
sure,
it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, but put in one more shot of them hitting Onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
Have 3 more guys pop out or something like that. Start shooting with lasers again or something. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, you just need to have it so that Onomatopoeia is ready for it. There's something that is stopping him from doing that.
Yeah.
He sees, he takes out the other 3 guys and then sees Clark for the first time. He's like, oh shit, that's the only moment of hesitation.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of different stuff. But to not do it at all does kind of take the wind out of my sails in those scenes.
It's like on Flash, because Flash does it a lot, where it's like he is so fast.
Yeah.
He just shows up and he stops.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, what you doing? And then he gets shot by something, and then the guy gets away. He's like, why didn't you just handcuff him and then ask him what he's doing?
I know.
Or anything. And then the one where, like, if he has, like, time shenanigans within it, where, like, he's seeing the same villain in the same situation, it's like, just hit him. You know?
We've also seen Flash Time where, like, he could go in somewhere, handcuff everybody, do, like, a murder mystery thing, figure out what's going on, and then unhandcuff everybody, and no one knows that they were handcuffed.
He could. Yeah. So, it's just things like that where it's like, when we've seen the creative, cool things that these heroes can do, now you got to creatively figure out why they can't do those things, not just don't do those things.
Yeah. And I personally just don't feel like it's that difficult to think of good reasons to insert drama, not just drama button now, you know, and everybody just stops for it.
Though I do like that. My biggest, weakness of the episode was that he just didn't punch the bad guy fast enough.
Yeah.
Versus other times where it's like, man, the story in this episode is not great, or the drama in this episode is not great, or they just have drama for drama's sake.
Yeah.
Like all the other stuff in this, I feel like gels pretty well.
Sure.
I'm just like, just punch him. You know. And then we have Kyle, Chrissy, Lana, and all that stuff too.
We do.
And a little bit of Jonathan thrown in there too, with him doing the
Sophie
the
thing.
firefighting stuff.
Oh, the firefighting stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Well, him working there, the Sophie thing kind of helps give him a little bit, like, now I got a little kin.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I don't know if it was meant to be a little bit meta, where it's like, everybody forgets about me. Like, you know, because last season, I'm sure more than us, we're talking about, where the hell is Sophie? No one cares, you know? And that's literally a plot point in season 3. It's kind of funny to me.
I'm pretty sure in one of the parts where, like, the whole town's being attacked and they have everyone together, it was like everyone but Sophie. It's like, where's Sophie?
Where's Sophie?
When the whole town is here from being attacked, you know? Like, but...
No, it's cool. Like, if that was a thing where it's like, all right, let's do how is Sophie feeling episode. I was like, all right, funny. Good. Great. Leave no character behind.
No, which is good. I'm curious to see how it pushes, like, Lana and Chrissy and all that story. Mm-hmm. I'm glad Kyle's like, no, let's make this more, like, official. Yeah. You know, let's just... I mean, maybe I was wrong. I should have listened to you. We should have done this sooner. But now it's here. I'm not going to break up. Let's do this more.
Yeah. Yeah, I, the one scene, it didn't make me uncomfortable, but I was just kind of like, dude, you're, like, convincing her to, hey, let's keep this quiet for now, because why? Because you know everybody will be upset. Why will they be upset? Well, you were upset when you thought that Lana was hanging out with John Henry, installing the security system.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
You're being like kind of a huge hypocrite here.
I'm like, he was mad because like he was worried they were a thing, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't like who's taking care of the wife. Is she actually safe? It felt more of like, is there a relationship brewing? Mm-hmm. So no, I get what you mean.
Yeah. So it was unfair of him, I think, to tell her, to try to convince her to be like, no, let's keep it secret. But it's out now. She was hiding behind alcohol. Like, oh God, please don't come over here.
I get though more so with like how his kids would take it.
Oh,
like absolutely. Regardless of how he feels about Lana, with the relationship between him and Chrissy and Lana and Henry and all that, there's still also like, are my kids ready for me to be in some kind of relationship after, the divorce with my wife?
Sure.
Like, how does that affect them, and are they ready? And
no,
should I at least have a talk with them before us being a real thing?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I get you.
So I get a little bit of that, at least, and I'm glad that he at least kind of brought that part up. But I wonder if we'll see more of a conversation or more of an issue with Sophie and Sarah with Chrissy and stuff. But I don't know. But I think it's better to talk with them rather than hiding it for a long time.
Oh, of course, yeah, absolutely. Like I'm not a parent, but I can imagine like saying like, "Hey, I'm having a really good time, but I can't do this to my kids right now. I need to take a break." Versus like, we're just gonna meet in secret, not tell anybody. You know?
I guess so. Yeah.
No one could be.
It's tricky because it's like what's good for them and them and them.
Yeah.
And then how do you get that all to work together?
Exactly. I understand.
Like if I divorce
sticky, but it makes
my
sense.
wife. But then, like, I don't know. It's been at least a month. I don't know. Let's say a month or 2 months since then. Yeah. If I'm already with someone else, I don't know how the ex is gonna feel. I don't know how my kids are gonna feel. I don't know how friends and family are gonna feel. And it's like, how do you make that gel? But it's still like, Kyle didn't want to split. We talked about him feeling lonely, Chrissy feeling lonely, and them finding comfort within each other.
Yeah.
But does that mean that he just shouldn't have any kind of relationship? And trying to figure out what's best for his
I don't know.
family.
I don't think there's a necessarily right answer, but when you're hiding something from someone, it's usually because you know what you're doing isn't necessarily the greatest thing. Or else why not just be open about it?
I mean, so him having a relationship from like his kids, is bad because it's gonna hurt his kids. You know what I mean? Like that's.
I'm gonna say like it's there's not like I said there's not like
does that mean he shouldn't have a relationship? You know what I mean?
Oh, I would say that if that's how he felt and how he thought his kids would feel, I would say like, hey, like I said earlier, like Chrissy, I like you, but I can't do this to them now. Maybe in the future.
So he can't have a relationship.
I would say if that's how he feels about it, then yeah, maybe take a break from. You don't have to always be in a relationship. Take a break from it from a bit. Figure yourself out. Go to the fucking grocery store. You know. Fill up your fridge.
I mean,
take care of your kids.
Sure.
Make sure you're not just being like, hey, I gotta go play with my friend, and leaving your kids, and they end up.
I mean, I understand balancing. I understand like you gotta like if you're gonna be a father, be a father, and that kind of stuff too. But
I'm not saying you should never have a relationship.
To now, like, well, because I think it will hurt my kids, I'm not allowed to have a relationship. Is what it sounds like. Versus like.
No,
whether he's ready for a relationship or not.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what the situation.
I would say
either way it's tricky. I think
it's
regardless.
tricky.
I don't think there's a solution that's solid for it in either way. I understand why you would maybe not want to tell your kids or try to hide it or try to make it open. But then what's that going to do for your kids, right? Like if you're like, hey, I am going to do this because this is right for me.
Yeah.
If it's not right for your kids, they can still hate you and be mad about it all. You know.
Sure.
So I don't think there's a right answer with any of it.
Yeah.
But I also don't think it's fair for him to not be able to be in a relationship.
I mean,
because of his
it's
kids
not
too.
like it
You know what I mean?
seems to me like Lana and Kyle have come to the conclusion like we're not getting back together, or at least that's the intent. Lana does not want them to get back together.
No.
But you still have stuff like Sophie being like, "Hey, can Dad come over for video game night or whatever?
Yeah.
Like we can still be that family. We can still go to the fair. We can still do those things." So things that are left unsaid and things that you aren't talking about, I think, create further division. You know, but as you say, like, who's to say there's no right thing to do. There's just trying to find the appropriate thing to do.
Yeah.
And as humans, we suck at that. Finding the appropriate thing to do sometimes.
Suppose. I mean, sure. I mean, yeah.
I also had the thought, too, in this episode when Superman looked at James's body and saw all those tumors. I'm like, huh, yeah, but he didn't see the tumor in Lois. But that's because he wouldn't look inside Lois. He knows Lois so much that he wouldn't cross that boundary unless she asked him to, you know? So that's, because I kind of had back in my head thinking, like, well, I'm just like scan my loved ones once a day, you know?
Sure. No, I get you. It's probably not something that he regularly does, too,
Yeah.
because there's probably things where it's like, as Superman, here's all the things I could do.
Yeah.
I shouldn't do
I shouldn't do
know?
that, yeah.
Like
the appropriate thing to do.
I could look into everyone's body or behind everyone's clothes or into anybody's house, but I shouldn't do that, you know? So maybe he has lines where it's like, oh, what's going on with this guy? I will use it in this situation, but I try not to use that every day, you know? I don't want to look at the teacher.
Yeah, I mean, he could probably
Or
walk
whatever.
down the street and just check everybody out and be like, hey, you're developing kidney disease. I can see it a little bit here. If you go to the doctor, they'll take care of that real quick. You're good, you know? You could probably do that for a while, but...
Sure.
I want to play God, I suppose.
Like once a month, you just have a spot, you just sit there.
Yeah.
And just people come, you're just like...
people in. Bad ankles. This is what's wrong with your thumb.
Oh.
You are nearsighted.
It'd be a nice little service, right?
It would be a nice service. I'd subscribe to that service. It's like, you know, once a year rather than go to the doctor, just have Superman like give you a once over.
Like I picture it kind of like being like a special clinic kind of thing where it's like a free clinic.
Yeah.
But like Superman's like, all right, I will park here. But the thing too is like, where do you go?
Sure.
Like who gets that benefit?
I know.
Like if even just parking in Metropolis once a month, you're probably not gonna see everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So like, do you just go to Metropolis once a month, or do you try to go to other countries or other states? You know, whatever.
I don't know.
That's not fair. So now you just can't do it to anybody.
Maybe. Yeah. All right. Well, we can look at Q&As. All right. The first one is from DK Lounge, who says, well, after 6 episodes, I guess we can now safely say who Natalie isn't. Right, Aaron?
No. There's a few things where it's like, it's fun to like, this is it.
Yep.
This is the crazy, give me the tinfoil hat. No, I don't need it. It's a good one.
I mean, I believed that Pete wasn't the bad guy in Lucifer.
So, no, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But if it was Nat, who else would have been right?
High risk, high reward when it comes to theories.
It's Nat, give me Nat.
Yeah.
But in this episode especially was the first time where I'm like, you know what? I think it's this person.
Yeah.
Because
I respect that you stick to your guns. Because then you have moments like in Community where it's like, you should bang that kid's mom. And we're like, Aaron, Jesus, no, you're not going to do it. You should bang that kid's mom.
Ha! That was a good moment. I was so
fantastic.
So surprised by that.
Yeah. So anyway, DK Lounge is getting that out there.
Yes.
Hayden Collins, though, says, "Ha, Aaron! Onomatopoeia totally wasn't Nat, you fool!" But seriously, I didn't expect the reveal. Do you think that Mateo is still tied to Mannheim, or is it less likely given this reveal?
Yeah. I want Nat to have something. Like, it feels like she's been struggling coming to this earth.
Yeah.
You know, she's struggling with, like, the grandpa and the mom ideas and stuff.
I do too.
I'd like to have someone who actually just, like, I like this girl so much that I was willing to drive 2 hours to try to meet her. Like, I don't know. I know it sounds
that
creepy.
much effort into getting her phone number and asking, like, hey, do you mind if I show up and don't just pop in?
He did. He did do that.
Yeah.
And the person who wouldn't give him the phone number said, "Come here and talk to me."
Also a mistake.
Which I don't.
And if someone said that,
don't blame him.
If I'm looking
I don't
for,
blame
you
him.
won't.
No.
If
don't
a
blame
girl
him.
that I'm looking for and their friend says, just show up, I'm like, I don't want to put them in a bad position. Can you just give me the phone number? And then I'm like, all right, well, I guess I
mean,
show
you
up.
don't know what the conversation was. I'm not faulting
Sure.
him. I'm gonna say that he went the proper channels to try to get it, and she was like, "No, I think it'd be the cutest thing if you drove here and talked to her yourself." And if that's the only option he's left with, then I'm not gonna fault him with it. He just gives up.
Yeah.
You are a fool.
Why?
You don't believe in love.
I do.
Nope, you don't.
But I also am not a creep.
Nope. If Jancy would have called me and said, "Hey, can I have Eric's phone number?" and I was like, "You know what? You should just come here." And then she did that.
I was like, man, what are you doing? I don't know who this person is.
Yeah, well, see? So you
should have been killed.
You should blame Sarah, not Mateo. See?
Love is relationships built upon experiences and trust and conversation. It doesn't just fucking fall out of the sky.
No, it doesn't.
And no, red flags are there for a reason, everybody. Protect yourself.
And green flags.
Melted Asagio. Asagio? That's how you say that?
Asiago?
That's how. I knew that you knew it.
Asagio.
Melted Asiago says, "Hey, Blind Wave, solid episode this week. My question is, do you think Jordan will be compromised because Clark used his name in the field?
Jordan!
I believe Lois will talk to Pia about her kids, and she'll put 2 and 2 together.
Please call him, like, Superboy or something, you know?
Yeah, it does kind of ruin the integrity of wearing everything when you're Jordan!
Yeah. And then he comes in like, "Dad!" You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. At least, like, Lois usually changes it, right? She's like, "Superman" versus, like, Clark! You know? It's like, wait a minute. Aren't you married to a Clark?
Sure. It would be hilarious if Onomatopoeia just shows up and being like, "So I'm here," and Superman's like, "How did you find out about us?" It's like, you said his name. He said Dad.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
I don't think it's a hard leap to be like, wait, doesn't Lois have a kid named Jordan? Doesn't she always know Superman?
Yeah.
You know?
She just looked at the picture being like, "Oh my God, it's him."
So, I don't think they're going to do that route. It seemed like Onomatopoeia took off. Maybe she wasn't paying attention. Maybe her ears were ringing.
She's not feeling well.
Did you think that Superman, I'm going to assume he did anyway, killed that man that shot Jordan?
Yeah.
Right? Because I was like, oh shit. Like, we could go dark Superman if, like, Jordan, Lois, you know, that kind of stuff.
I think that he's trained himself to always err on the side of don't kill them.
I'm sure. But, like, he was like, doom! And I'm like...
Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah, no, I don't think he set his eyes to stun.
Sure. Like, I don't know how strong Onomatopoeia is, but she didn't get, like, killed from that laser blast. So.
Yeah, but she blew up a city hall, so she's strong. But also she's sick.
It's one of those things where it's like, like, Shocker has these blasts, right? Yeah. But he's just a dude with, like, these things, right? So, like...
Theoretically, if Spider-Man punched him with his full strength in the face, he'd have no face.
He should be dead. Mm-hmm. So, like, kind of the same idea. Like, so she can just shoot really strong sounds out of her face, but how strong's her body? You know, I don't know what the line is there.
I mean, I assume not strong.
Henry was pretty strong.
Because of the chemo.
Right?
But then also there's the XK and the blood and all that stuff.
The blood of Clark.
Yeah. Yeah, Henry's just a man. He just wears a suit.
Huh?
Is that what you're saying? Henry?
No, the other guy. Not John Henry. Henry Miller? Yeah. I don't know what his name was. Henry
was something like that.
But he had
Henry
Clark's blood.
Miller.
And he was like, he had a lot of the powers. Flight and strength and that kind of stuff. Except he got shot by fake bullets. Which, I want to see more of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like the last few times we've seen Onomatopoeia, it's just been like the... Like, I want to, like... He was shot with bullets, but there's no bullet, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, there's holes, but no bullets.
Yeah.
I want to see weird things like that happen.
Me too. Daniel B. says... Did you like how Sarah's little sister was one of the focuses this week? I always forget she exists.
That's why I like it. I like it because it's like, man, She's never around.
No, it feels to me like the writers looking at online feedback and being like, man, people are really upset we're not showing her.
Just have her around.
Let's just do an episode where she's like, no one cares about me. If that's the case, I think I love it more.
They don't even notice I'm gone. I think she said that.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, we all know that they were shooting through COVID and...
Sure.
And, you know, kid actors on set have certain rights and limits and all that stuff. It's not a big deal. I just think it's funny.
It was also one of those things, too, where I really felt bad for Jonathan, and I wanted it not to be overshadowed, where he came in and be like, Mom, look, Lil Kent. You know, he was happy that he got a shirt with his name on it.
Yeah.
And she's like, cool.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I know she's worried about Clark and Jordan. When they come back, I hope they talk about this shirt, and they don't just like, oh, thank goodness you guys are back. You know?
Cassidy says, I'm curious your thoughts on Jonathan still being overlooked and sidelined by his family. Also, fun fact, George Kitson, who wrote this episode, was a writer on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Cool.
I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I mean, he gets the least amount of focus from his family.
Sure. And like him talking with Sophie, kind of talking about the same thing. Yeah. I did like Jordan's not a big deal. Sarah dumped him. I did like that.
That was funny.
He's like, she did, didn't she?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I want him to feel like he's in the family, because it's one of those things where it's like, even Lois, being this big-time reporter, has a lot of, like, importance about her. Whereas Jonathan just feels like, well, I don't even have powers. I just have nothing. I'm not a football star because I ruined everything, you know? Like, I want him to feel like he's part of something. I like that they're doing this firefighter thing where he can try to, like, be something or do something and feel like he's contributing to whatever, or having some importance that he feels he doesn't have right now, you know?
Yeah, no, I get you. I kind of relate a little bit with Jonathan in that obviously it sucks when you're not getting as much attention as your other family members, but like I grew up in a family and, you know, because we ran a farm and stuff, it was very like problem-oriented attention. You get attention because there's a problem.
Sure.
And we fix that problem together. If there's no problem, well, there's other problems that we have to focus on, you know? So if you're doing good, you might not get as much attention.
Sure.
And I think I grew up like kind of understanding that, but Jonathan being from Metropolis and suddenly his brother has powers and all this stuff, like, yeah, I can definitely see why it would... I think he's doing a good job managing it, though. You know? Like, I think that he, like, kind of takes it. I mean, I don't know if that will blow up one day.
There was issues, last season?
With the drug
where
stuff,
he was having trouble with...
Yeah, I liked his, like... You know? He's like, oh, this is happening to you? You know, I became an Kryptonite dealer and destroyed football for the entire time. That was really funny. But no, I do kind of get that and why I think, you know, I don't think it's the right thing necessarily, the right way to do things, but I understand it. Snow Monkey says, do you think Kyle will learn Clark's identity this season? And if so, how long will it take? I personally feel like he should know now that he is the only one left in the main cast who doesn't know. That's true.
Sophie doesn't know. Does she count as main cast?
That's why I have to have scenes like this, Aaron.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say, like, you know, well, Kyle, at least that actor is a regular build.
Because even Chrissy knows now, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think he finds out?
You need to have someone who doesn't know, right?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I don't like characters finding out big secrets like that just for the sake of it. Like, if there's good reasons to do it, then I'm always up for it. But I can't imagine a good reason right now.
Sarah doesn't know Clark is Superman.
She knows that...
I think she knows Jordan has powers.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know Clark is Superman.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people in her town had powers that weren't Superman's son.
I said yeah.
I get what you're going for. I heard
they look
I heard
exactly the same.
I heard it. So...
The glasses don't do anything.
They do.
I had to suspend my belief every day.
Did you hear Sam Lane last episode where he's like, you don't have glasses like your father? He said that. That man's a general in the army. He knows, okay? He understands intelligence and stealth and all that stuff.
Oh, that's so funny. I love it. All right, that was the last Q&A. We need a poll. All right, guys, so the drama that Clark and Lois are going through is pretty elevated. Do you think this is some of the best Superman drama we've gotten in live action? And if not, what has been your favorite or most compelling that you've seen in live action? Let us know. This is pretty high on my list, if not number one. but I want to hear other people's opinions too. So
yeah,
patreon.com/blindwave. Check that out.
I'm excited for anyone who says it's not to see like what the alternatives are. So.
Yeah.
Do it. I'm gonna talk about it next week.
Me too. Guys, thank you very much for watching this episode of Superman and Lois. We hope that you enjoyed the video. We hope that you enjoyed the reaction, the discussion, and you can interact with the poll over at patreon.com/blindwave. Also, while you're over there, you can check out the full-length reaction because there are a lot of parts that we can't include in the highlight here, and everything's valuable over there.
This angle, it does kind of look like boobies.
It does. Yeah. See the...
Yeah.